Greetings, Mind Crafters, and welcome to another Minecraft episode today. My name is Kimberly Quinn, and I am your hostess with the mostest today. And of course, Minecraft is all about becoming the boss of your brain and really grabbing life by the ass, to just make it the best ride ever. And so today's topic involves a certain simple pleasure. It's one of my favorites, and it has to do with, when the going get tough, the tough take a hot bubble bath. And of course, this only works if you have a bathtub. If it's a shower, it's not going to be the same. So uh, that is an is what it is situation, I suppose. I worship my tub, and it's also, we should put it out there. This tends to be thought of as some, baths, hot, especially hot, baths with bubbles and, lavender and candles. That we think of that as only a woman thing. And that is obviously, such a social conditioning because, when little boys are born into this world, uh, who tells them that it's not okay to take a hot bath? It's crazy. It's just nuts. And so, I'm hopeful that any, men listening can bust out of gender jail and start embracing the tub, worship the tub, sink into the tub because there is not much more relaxing than a hot bath. So I want to give a shout out first to Sarah Von Brednek because I dove back into her book Simple Abundance, which I've loved and read since my 30s. When I was at home with the kids, it's like an everyday book, and it's just like little short things, and it's so good, all very positive. So she starts out with a quote by Sylvia Plath, and Sylvia says, "There must be quite a few things a hot bath won't cure, but I don't know many of them." And it is certainly true that, women have been embracing the whole idea of a bath for a long time. And I think of not just the bath, I'm blessed with a beautiful tub that just came with the house. We didn't even do it. It's separate from the shower and it's got the jets and everything, which actually the jets have been broken for years, but the tub is big and I love it. And I've got candles in there and everything. But outside of that, my women friends and I, whenever we go away, which isn't that often, but we make it worth it when we do. When we were all home as young mothers, we would make it once a year in usually the first or second weekend of December, and it was like a Christmas shopping weekend, and we always stayed in a place. The hot tub was kind of a box that had to be checked, and we'd go immerse ourselves in the hot tub with a glass of wine, which was, of course, against the rules. We took that in mommy's little plastic sippy cup, and nobody knew the difference. And also, one of my women, actually, well, two of them have hot tubs. One of them since has fried a few of them, but we have always kind of had our overnight, sleepovers very much revolving around the tub. And I'm thinking of that at this minute. I didn't actually plan to interject that before deciding to do this episode, but I'm realizing how much hot baths have been a part of my life for relaxation and also um, my, socializing with my women friends. And again, whoever made the rule when little boys are brought into this earth that they can't delight in this simple pleasure too. Why can't they do it? When men are in saunas all the time together and everything else, dive into a hot tub. And it seems like it's a little more socially acceptable when it's a spa. But my girlfriends and I, when the one we go to visit, when we go to stay with one of them, she's got this huge hot tub out in the backyard. It's just great. And especially we're in northern Vermont, and back in the day, we haven't done it lately in our 50s, but when we were in our 30s, we used to roll in the snow after a couple glasses of wine. None of this you're supposed to do, but it's all worked out. I'm still here talking about it. So it was great and great memories. We would like do snow angels in our, skimpy little bikinis and then jump back in the tub. And what great memories and all kinds of heartfelt conversations would just roll out of us, and just wow, just so wonderfully pleasureful, at times healing, depending on what we were talking about, and just plain joyful. And Sarah starts out, she says, every woman should be aware that there is a significant difference between bathing and taking a bath. Oh, that is for sure. We're not talking about just washing all the parts. We are immersed in there. She says bathing is merely cleansing, but you can remove grime and sweat in a shower, for heaven's sake. Taking a bath, as the Victorian social critic Ambrose Bierce described it, is a kind of mystic ceremony substituted for religious worship. And I really like how she puts that because I know in my own tub. Oh, this is actually really funny. This is a little squirrel moment here. I'm recently, sort of recently, like 3 months ago, on Instagram because of all the well being stuff I do for Champlain, and I was left alone for the weekend with we're very newly empty nesters. Our baby just moved out to Colorado in January. My husband, who rarely goes away by himself, had a thing with work friends down in Boston. So all of a sudden, I found myself in the house with Giovanni the golden retriever, and of course the three goats, Hamlet, King Lear, and Caesar, out in the backyard. And I had 48 hours of complete quiet. And so I basically just had a whole weekend of creativity. I could do what I wanted when I wanted. I ate when I wanted to eat. I ate what I wanted to eat. I made popcorn, which I don't eat very often. I watched Under the Tuscan Sun, which is one of my favorite movies, and I made a reel. For those of you who don't know what that is, I'm sure most of you do, but it's like a 15 to 60-second thing, and I think mine was like 30 seconds. That's it. So I did splices of my weekend alone. Probably like, where is she going with this? Hold tight. So I showed pouring a little wine. I was jumping on the bed. I was doing my singing my power song with the spatula in the living room, watering plants, eating takeout, just reading books, just having a great time. But I ended it with a picture of well, it's my tub. My husband doesn't go in that tub. He likes the shower, typical like gender jail, like we're talking about. And my tub is beautiful. And I jazzed it up for the reel, obviously. So I lit, I think, I don't know, 6 or 8 candles. Looked like I was having a seance in there. And by the way, I was not in the tub in the picture, but I scoured it. So it was gorgeous. I lit the candles all around it. And I had, just pretty pretties. And if I would have had rose petals, that would have worked great. But it was so gorgeous. And so that is truly how I ended my weekend alone by myself. I didn't make that up. The hot bath was like the piece de la resistance, as they say, like in chef world, and this was like tub world. And that was the end of my weekend. So I had a little glass of wine in there. I had 48 hours of solitude. And what better way to wind it up than a hot bubble bath? And I put lavender oil in there and everything. And so then the reel that I did on Instagram was just the tub, obviously. And I also posted it on Facebook, and it got like a million comments, and not a million literally, but lots and lots, because people could just see by that picture. All it was is a really sexied up bathtub with candles, and just the ambiance of it was so clear, and it just said serenity and rejuvenation. I would pick that word, I think, even more so, or maybe together. And that it really struck a chord with people. So I wanted to add that in here because this is what we're talking about. The hot bath can really, at least temporarily, fix or cure nearly anything. And then Sarah goes on to say, I believe in the rejuvenating power of hydropathy as a positive adjunct to psychotherapy. Interesting. A century ago, water cures were on the rage to combat new American nervousness, or neurasthenia, which began to sweep the country as our great great grandparents adjusted to the relentless intrusion of technology into their lives and the resulting disruptions of hectic modern living. Imagine that way back then, in the form of telephones and electricity. Oh my gosh! You bring that into this world. So I'm making I'm picking up on the implication here that new American nervousness and neurasthenia is what we're now calling anxiety. And when our great great grandparents had to kind of adjust to the busy dashness of telephones and electricity. And now, of course, it's oh, now it's hailing. Look at that. The busyness of all that. Now look what we have with the computers and cell phones and tablets, and 24/7 of just this bombardment of information. And God, the whole world needs a hot bath. And Sarah goes on to say that Victorians would flock to spas to drink mineral waters and take medicinal dunks to cure the fidgetiness and racing pulses of anxiety attacks, insomnia, depression, and headaches. It's interesting. I think back then they had different words for those things. Truthfully, um, they often use the word melancholy, which is a word we still have, obviously, but I think they spoke a little differently back then because very little was talked about it. About as far as mental health goes, but it seems like they took care of it in that way. And I'm also thinking about when we took our kids uh, out west to the Grand Canyon, and we did that whole kind of. I'm thinking like vacation, like Wally World, that whole thing we did. Oh, we didn't go all the way to California, but we went to the Grand Canyon, and New Mexico was really great. So that's where I'm going with this. We stopped somewhere for lunch. I forget how we found out about them, but locals told us where to go for the hot springs, and so we walked back in there with the kids, and our oldest, who's now 31, was in 8th grade, so that should tell you. The baby who just graduated from St. Lawrence University was in kindergarten, and then the other 3 were in between, and we also had, a boy, one of our son's friends, living with us for a while, and he was with us as well, and also in 8th grade, no, 7th grade, and so they were in a really good ages to do all this stuff. So we went hiking back there, way back there, and then all of a sudden we could see the steam and see there were different little tubs, in quotes, air quotes, kind of, because it's obviously, mountainous, and they were just all over the place, and we went into one, like, kinda like I was a cave, I guess I would say. We just had to be a little careful because, uh, in the hot springs in New Mexico, people are doing things, so I had to kinda go ahead of the group and just make sure that, the way was clear for, everybody being respectful of everybody. Certainly go about your snuggling and everything, but we just had to find a place that was a little bit tucked away from that. So we found one in a cave that was, oh my God, I can't even explain how great that this was. And these minerals are also known for not just soothing, but healing. And the kids all jumped in there. The boys got in their boxer shorts. The girls stayed in their regular shorts and t-shirts. And they all, because we didn't plan for the bathing suits or anything. I think the boys had jeans on, so they went in their regular boxer shorts, and everybody jumped in, and it was just just the ideal temperature, steam coming up. And the minute you sink in there, it was just absolutely heavenly. You can just feel it just soothing you on the cellular level. Just so amazing. So Sarah says, today we can take the cure, in quotes, in the privacy of our own bathrooms. Kind of like, just envisioning that hot spring out west in our own tub, and of being possessed of common sense. We should do it daily. Do not underestimate the blessings of the bath. That's like a quote for the ages. Do not underestimate the blessings of a bath. It can calm your mind, relax your tired, tense body, and soothe your stressed spirit. It can help you drift off to the exquisite relief of sleep, or wake you up and help you greet the day with enthusiasm. Oh my gosh, absolutely love this. And then here's where we wind it up right here, because Sarah says it the best. She said, "My philosophy in life is very simple. When in doubt, take a bath." This is Kimberly Quinn signing off from the beautiful northern Vermont. Have a mindful day.